welcome back or welcome to my channel. My name is Lauren and I make videos a couple of times a week about books and fandomy things. So today I'm actually making a Disney video, but it is a disability video as well as a Disney video, and it is all about attending a Disney park with a disability. So for those that maybe don't know or don't follow me on other social medias, I actually have fibromyalgia, chronic fatigue syndrome, I have really bad issues with my jaw, I have issues with breathing, I have asthma, then I also have something with my windpipe. I also have lots and lots and lots of different allergies, and I also have joint hypermobility. Those things all together means that my mobility and moving around is not great, and I use a walking stick. So as someone that likes to go to a Disney park, there are provisions that have to be put in place when I attend. Before those things were put in place, before I had diagnosis, before all of these things started to develop and kick off, I did not attend Disney with a disability, and I never really thought it through as to what the procedure of that would be until it applied to me, which is bad of me for not doing that, but I think lots of people can relate to not thinking about how it would impact them because it doesn't currently impact them. But I've learned from that now, and I would like people to be more aware of the fact there are many disabilities and not all of them are visible. I've had lots of people get very angry when I've been allowed to cut the queue because I don't look disabled, and I'd like people to be aware that there is not one disabled look, and that disabled comes in many shapes and forms and abilities. Even a lot of people in wheelchairs are actually ambulant and can get out of those wheelchairs, so that is something that just a little food for thought there. But yeah, I'm going to talk about my experience attending Disney parks with a disability. I have only ever been to Disneyland Paris and Walt Disney World, so that is where my experiences is coming from. Later this year I am going to Tokyo Disneyland and Tokyo Disney Sea, which I'm very excited about, so I will do an updated version if that's something you guys might like. But for now, let's get into this part. So one thing that I will say is that they really want to help in the Disney parks, but it does differ between Walt Disney World and Disneyland Paris. I'm going to talk about Walt Disney World first. So if you attend Walt Disney World, more often than not you will have a magic band. Magic bands look like this, and this has your park ticket, your room key, this will have your dining plan on it, you can top it with money and pay for things with this, and this also is where the disability pass will go if you have one of these. So I was in Disney, we stayed in a Disney resort, we stayed in Animal Kingdom, and our first full day in the parks I went to guest relations in Epcot. Now there is a guest relations in all four of the main parks. When I say four main parks, I mean Animal Kingdom, Hollywood Studios, Magic Kingdom and Epcot. I'm not entirely sure if there's some Blizzard Beach and Typhoon Lagoon, so you can go to anyone, you don't have to go to Epcot. That was just where we spent our first day, and I went in and said to him, "Hi, this is what I have, can you help me?" And he couldn't want to help me enough. He was so helpful. I didn't need to take any documentation. I did have documentation with me, but he didn't ask for any of it. I don't know if that was just the cast member I spoke to, but I would say have it on you just in case, but they didn't ask for it, and I couldn't see people around being asked to show theirs either. But I told him what was wrong and he said that's fine. So he then put that disability pass on my magic band and my mum and my dad's magic band who were with me on the trip. So this then worked as almost like a fast pass. So we'd go to a ride and say what time could we come back, and they would give us a time to come back so we didn't have to queue. So for example, we went to Hollywood Studios on the second day and we wanted to go on Slinky, and we couldn't get a fast pass for Slinky on the app, so we went and said could we use this because the queue was like 3 hours long. So they said yes, come back in an hour. So we could go and eat, or we could go on stuff where there wasn't really a big queue, or we actually went and met characters in which there wasn't a massive queue for. So we could do something else in that meantime, which meant I didn't have to stand for a very long time, and it was really helpful to me, and it was absolutely amazing. Like I said, they put it on this, they put it on the rest of my party, my mum and dad's magic band as well, so that they could come with me and they wouldn't have to queue and I'd have to wait for that whole situation, and they were really helpful. I also just want to talk about having allergies as well. I am allergic to lots of different things, which is a pain because I'm dairy intolerant, which is annoying, but then I'm also allergic to nuts, which means a lot of dairy alternatives use almonds or cashews, which I can't eat. But Disney were great. Whenever I reserved any meals, they were absolutely fab at actually having that. We booked the Bon Voyage breakfast with Flynn and Rapunzel and Ariel and Eric, and we also had breakfast in Be Our Guest, and both times I had my own food, my own plate of little pastries, because some of them were made with nuts, and they gave me my whole plate of all the same thing that my mum and dad had, but just nut free and allergen free, and honestly it was amazing. I didn't have to pay any extra for it, even though we essentially got 2 plates of what was supposed to be shared on the table. So you're supposed to get a big plate of pastries to share and Be Our Guest, but my mum and dad got one between them, and I got one by myself. And the same with the Bon Voyage breakfast, you were supposed to get a frying pan with pastries in it, like Rapunzel's frying pan, and I got my own. So they were absolutely amazing and honestly so accommodating, and it was really, really, really great. Now on to Disneyland Paris, where things work a little bit different. So in Disneyland Paris, they have 2 forms of disability pass. First pass is the green pass, and the second pass is the orange pass. Now I have used the green pass before and I have used the orange pass before. The green pass is essentially a all access pass. You go and you can just walk onto rides, you can just walk onto where there's a special disability area for shows and for the fireworks and for parades, which you can just go and wait in, and you don't have to queue the whole time to get a good view. And with characters with the green pass, you go and they give you a time to come back, like the whole situation with Walt Disney World. That's what they do. Some characters I've just walked straight on, some they've told us to come back. The orange card works a lot more like Walt Disney World, where you go to a ride, they tell you a time to come back. The thing with Paris is a lot of the rides, the queue times can get high, but nowhere near as busy as Walt Disney World, so a lot of the times they did just let me walk straight on with this pass. But the orange pass doesn't work for shows, for parades or for fireworks, which I do think is a little bit annoying, because it does mean that you then have to queue, and you have a disability pass because you have a disability, and I have a walking stick, so I cannot stand for long periods of time. So that was a little bit inconvenient when I had this pass. Paris are very, very strict on paperwork that you have and what that will give you pass wise. So the reason why I was given the orange pass the one time is because I was then waiting for my disability card and or a blue badge to come through, and even though I took doctor's notes explaining the situation, my diagnosis letters, showed my medication, had my walking stick, had the application that was currently pending for a blue badge / card, they said no, which still meant I didn't have to queue because I was given the time to come back, so I could go sit down and I could go chill. So it was absolutely fine. But Paris do want to see documents, and they will only take specific documents as evidence, I guess, for your disability. In Paris, you can go to City Hall in Main Street, and I do believe there is one at the start of Walt Disney Studios as well. There's a little like relations bit, a little information thing where you can go in. Most people do go to City Hall. I would recommend getting there, sort of go there straight away as the park opens, because the queue for City Hall can get a bit ridiculous, like actually a bit crazy. It's absolutely huge. The queues I found for guest relations in Walt Disney World were a lot better, because there are a lot bigger rooms, there's more cast members there, there's more desks, and there's cast members stood up with iPads and everything, so it wasn't just someone behind a desk, so it was a lot quicker process. But in Disneyland Paris, City Hall gets very, very busy. It's one counter with about 3 or 4 people behind it, so it can be a longer process, and obviously you do have to show lots of documentation as well in Paris as well. So that's how the difference with those there. If you do have a blue badge, if you do have a disability card, if you do have anything like that and you're going to Disneyland Paris, take that, because it means that you will be given the right pass for you and the best pass that's going to suit you. These say how many helpers there are. I do believe there's a maximum for Paris. I think it's, how many was it when the card allows you and 4 helpers, so yeah, so you and then 4 other people. I do just want to add as well, this number changed when there was, with the green card, it changed for the fireworks going into like the firework pen. I think it went down, so for actual rides it was more people, but then for shows and stuff only, I think it was 2 people could come in to the area with you because of crowding, because lots of people would be in that area and lots of them wouldn't be disabled, if that makes sense. So a disabled person went in there and then 5 other people came with them, it would be a big crowd, so they only allow a certain amount of people into like parade queues and firework queues and show queues with the person that has the disability card. And then there's different things as well. So it says, guests with a debilitating illness, or temporary medical condition, expectant mother, or ambulatory impairment. And I do think that's the same with the green card as well, because when that's been used, that was the same. There was 6 of us and there were 5, but one of them was really little, so they said they'd put her on, but it wasn't supposed to be like that, if that makes sense. And also the rest of your party can only use the card if you are going on it with them. So if they wanted to go on a ride that you didn't, they would have to queue the full queue and cannot use the card, because they will always check which one of you is the card holder, because it has your name and your information on it, and you have to show them that you are that person. We had some amazing cast members that did just say the queue is not that bad, it's half an hour, just go on now. They have disability entrances, which is also the same in Walt Disney World, so you go through a different entrance, which means you don't have to push through the queue. People can still see you for some of it, but most of them you either go in the exit or you go through the special disability access, which is really, really good because it means it's a lot more accessible and a lot more movable around to it. Some of also the ones in Disney, so for Big Thunder Mountain in Paris, you do go through with this card to the Fast Pass queue, so there might still be a little bit of a queue for that one, but I've also been through the disability access of Big Thunder Mountain, and that is essentially just a straight walk on. Secondly, food ordering in Disneyland Paris. A lot of restaurants, the one it happened to us in a lot was Casey's Corner on Main Street. They have a disability counter, and the lady, she saw us come in, she saw us went to get in the main queue, because I didn't know. She saw us went to get in the main queue, saw the thing straight away. She pulled us over, not physically pulled us, but she took us over to the queue, to the disabled queue, which no one was in, rang the bell and got someone to come and serve me immediately, so I didn't have to queue, which was absolutely amazing and so great of her, because we were then going to go and watch the fireworks, so I didn't want to be in a big queue for food and then a big queue for the fireworks, but so it was actually great. We got to sit down for the fireworks on Main Street until we had to stand up for it, which, to be honest, I would have had to have done if I was going in the little box anyway. So yeah, so she was really, really great. I really love that system of food ordering. I honestly don't remember if that's a thing in Walt Disney World. I imagine that it must be because of how big Walt Disney World is, but I do not remember. If anyone in the comments could help me out with that, that would be fab. And Paris is also the same with allergies. You tell them about allergies and they're great. So what I've started to do now is actually write all of my intolerances and illnesses and everything in French on my phone, so I can just, rather than, because I do know the French for them, but rather than going through them, I can just give them the list so that they know what to give me. They are really, really great at recognising invisible disabilities and illnesses. They have those access queues and different queues for you to go in, which is really, really, really great, so you're not pushing past anyone, you can go through. Sometimes that might be the exit, you go in through the exit, sometimes that may be its own access queue, and sometimes that may be in the fast pass queue. Some rides you do have to be ambulant, so if you are in a wheelchair and you cannot be ambulant, some rides they will not allow that on. It's a Small World is incredible because it has a disability access boat, so it has a whole boat which they put a ramp down and you are able to go on the boat if you are in a wheelchair, which I think is absolutely incredible and amazing that they do that. I honestly think it's so good. They take anything that you use away, so if you are in a wheelchair and you are ambulant, you leave the wheelchair, or you obviously cannot fold it up and take it on the ride with you. They took my walk-in stick away from me every time. They take crutches away. I don't think you can go on anything if you have broken bone, in the sense, if it's a ride where you have to be ambulant, I think it's sort of with a broken bone, because the reason you have to be ambulant is because if the ride breaks down, you will have to climb. So you will have to climb maybe down something, you know, if you're on the top of Space Mountain and it breaks down, you got to get down a ladder. Some rides as well, you will have to be with someone that is able to sort of say, I'm going to help this person if we do get stuck on something. So I've had friends before have to say, I will essentially be Lauren's carer in this situation if she was struggling. They also have lots and lots of seats. They have rest places, they have places where you can chill. This was really, really a big thing in Walt Disney World. I noticed there were lots of places where you could just sit and chill out, especially by where Soarin' is and Living Off the Land. There were loads and loads and loads of seats there, which was really, really great for me when I was waiting to go on to Soarin' with my return time pass. I just wanted to add as well, I totally forgot, this is what we now have in Disneyland Paris. If you stay on site, it's a magic pass. It works like a magic band, but it's a card, and this has your park ticket and your hotel number on it, like room key as well, and they put this on my one and also my friend's cards as well. So yeah, so that was my experiences in Disneyland Paris and Walt Disney World with a illness, disability and also allergies and the way that they are with it. I hope this video was helpful. It was something I think would have been really helpful for me to have seen, and I was trying to find as much as I could to help me the first time I went to both of those places with all of these things that I needed. So I hope that this is some kind of helpful. If you've got any other additional information that you have had in either of these parks or any other parks, to be honest, leave them in the comments down below. That would be super helpful. I am going to Tokyo Disneyland and Disney Sea later on this year, and I can't find much information about it, so if you have and you know about the disability information, that would be fab. Like I said, if you guys are new here, I make videos a couple of times a week about books and fandomy things, so if you want to stick around and join us, then feel free to hit that subscribe button. And as usual, all the links to all my other social medias are in the description down below. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you're doing really well, and I will see you next time. Goodbye!